Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and the Oscars it was a time that I loved. Every year, February rolls around, I get comfy, I pull up my list of the nominated films, I watch as many of them as I can, and I get ready to spend 3 hours watching Hollywood literally pat itself on the back and award itself for a job well done. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it when I was a kid. And then South Park lost out to Phil Collins in 2000, and I never looked back. Yeah, I hold a grudge. I'm sorry. Blame Canada was far better than whatever song Phil Collins sang on Tarzan. All right. But then again, at the time, I didn't realize that the Oscars were political. I didn't realize that. I was 18. I had no idea. I thought it was literally the best movie. People thinking it was the best movie. No, it's entirely political. And we've seen this for the last couple of years. It's not like, we're talking like the last like 5-6 years. It has been so damn political that they are having trouble finding people to host it. In fact, this says here why the Oscar host has become the least wanted job in Hollywood, right? The Oscars used to be, if you call up and go, hey, you want to host the Oscars? And someone's like, hell yeah, I want to host the Oscars. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be a grand old time. I get a party out for 3 hours, get to run a good show, have a lot of fun. Billy Crystal did it multiple times. Bob Hope did it multiple times. And then in the last couple of years, it's just been terrible. And the reason why it's been terrible, really, honestly, truly, is the people who comment of it online, right? The hit pieces after the fact. And I think it really started with Seth MacFarlane back in 2013 when he hosted, he did a song called I Saw Your Boobs, and it was a bit, and they pre-shot a lot of it. And it was a funny little bit. He put on a whole song and dance routine. I think he had the Los Angeles gay man's choir come on stage and sing out. And it was a great little bit. Completely roasted online. So many hit pieces the next day, completely attacking Seth MacFarlane for this, to the point where he's like, I never want to come back and do it again. And I thought he was probably the best host in years. Like, I actually watched his segments a couple times because they were so freaking funny, because he just kind of threw convention to the wind and played around in the sandbox. So then the next year they were like, well, we need to bring in something better. We need to bring in someone more palatable. We need to bring in someone who's crowd pleasing. And it was Ellen DeGeneres. And ever since Ellen, it has just dropped and dropped and dropped. And every year, nothing but articles about how bad the host is. Nothing on social media about how bad it is. You don't hear anything really good anymore, right? Keep in mind that social media isn't a place to champion good. It's a place to complain about bad. That's what it is. It's so much misery and terribleness. I don't blame anyone for not actually wanting to become an Oscar host, because why deal with the backlash for something you're just having fun with when it's really not worth the time, the money, or any of the shit. But it says here, with the 91st Academy Awards less than 3 months away, producer Donna Gigliotti has yet to line up an MC, but don't blame her. It's a gig that almost no one should want. Long forgotten in the kerfuffle that ended the 2017 Oscars when La La Land's victory was snatched from its jaws and handed to Moonlight, where Jimmy Kimmel's tossed aside words, I don't know what happened, I blame myself for this, I knew it would screw the show up, I really did. Perhaps he was joking. Regardless, his comment opened a window into the thinking of one of the few Oscar hosts in recent memory who's escaped relatively unscathed after 2 turns at bat, revealing that even a seasoned late-night host was convinced his first experience would end in failure. And that has more to do with the response to the show. That has more to do with, I believe, expectations. I think it has more to do with people online wanting certain movies to win, and when those certain movies lose or don't win as much, or that person doesn't win, then there's a lot of fervor, a lot of like, the game is rigged, because people don't truly understand how the Oscars are run. The Oscars is entirely money-based organization, right? It's not that they get money, it's that the studios pay out a lot of money in order to market a film to win an Oscar. Disney is forking out, and I mean, I don't know how much money, but they're forking out millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in order to market Black Panther for Best Picture. And they do this every year. Right? All the studios do this. They pick their one film that they believe will go on to be the biggest Oscar contender, and they will market the hell out of it. And they will pay for advertising. They pay for it everywhere. And people in the Academy know this. And I think people in the Academy use this to their advantage from time to time. It got to be so bad that the Academy opened up the members from 6,000 to 9,000 and started booting out older members who aren't active in the system anymore, but still are able to vote. Trying to open it up to new markets, trying to open up to new demographics, and it's been failing miserably. And that's because I think a lot of times people just don't care about the Oscars. They just don't care about these award shows. You're probably bored listening to this video, and I don't necessarily blame you. I love movies, so for me, this is interesting, but you may not, and that's okay. Now, says Kimmel's fears were hardly justified. Take a look at the Roundelay performers who've embraced show business's most perilous assignment, and the failure rate is enough to give even the rock climbers and the free solo vertigo. Ever since Billy Crystal passed the baton in 2004, the Academy has struggled to find the right anchor. Nobody's been willing to run the gauntlet more than twice. Among the two-timers is Kimmel, Ellen DeGeneres, Hugh Jackman, Chris Rock, and Jon Stewart, most of whom have vowed to never do it again. Contrast with Oscars glory days when Johnny Carson hosted 5 times, Billy Crystal 9, and Bob Hope a swoon-inducing 19. All took on the task when there were only 3 major broadcast networks, and the Oscars were a must-see event in the ruthlessly competitive environment. Now, the host is expected to boost the ratings, which means he or she must have a wide name recognition, must be funny, topical, politically savvy, young, and satisfactory to a coalition of competing interests, including the Academy's president, its sprawling board, and ABC, not to mention Donna Gigliotti, who was named to produce in October and who will be joined by veteran director Glenn Weiss. So basically, as you can see here, and that was kind of a long statement, it shows you that it's like there's so much more going on with it now, right? It is not just like 3 networks on the air and it's the biggest show on Sunday night on the last weekend of February. It has everything to do ultimately with like now there's like Netflix and Sunday night shows and blah, 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 blah. But it's been dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Take a look at this here, a downward trend in Oscars rating. 2014, this is a year after Seth MacFarlane, I think, completely knocked it out of the park. Ellen DeGeneres comes in and she hosts 43.74 million. Ellen's really huge. 2015, Neil Patrick Harris came in at 37 million. The thing to remember about that is in 2015, How I Met Your Mother was pretty much at the height of its game. It was coming into the close, but people loved it. People really loved it, and it was one of those things where it wasn't going anywhere. You get Chris Rock in 2016, still dropped 3 million. Jimmy Kimmel once again in 2017, with that hiccup at the end there, and 2018 dropped from 33 million to 26.5. Keep in mind that big screw up where La La Land lost out its award because one of the insurance auditors gave the wrong envelope because they were too busy texting. Not even kidding you. That was a big enough kerfuffle to think people were going to tune in 2018 to see whether or not the screw ups were going to continue. You figure it would boost ratings because of something as big as that happening. It didn't. In fact, it dropped exponentially because I think people realize they just don't care. This is just the reality of it. People just don't fucking care. They don't care about the Oscars. I mean, look, from 2014 to 2018, it's down nearly 20 million viewers, and it's not going to pop up in 2019 either. It's really, really, really not. People don't even watch. They just go, oh, who won? Oh, okay. I'll just follow the Twitter threads, or I'll go look on IMDb after the fact and they'll find out who won. Afterward, that's it. They just want to see who won and go about their business. It's a spectacle. It's long. It's 3 hours. That's way too long. People don't care about it anymore. It's not streaming. You can catch it afterward on Hulu if you want, but at the same time, who wants to watch it again, really? Unless there's some great bits, but all the great bits will be uploaded to YouTube or Facebook or other social media. There's quite literally no reason to have the Oscars anymore. To have it unless they want to change up how long it is, if they want to double up on a couple things, if they want to make it less about the grandiose aspect of the celebrities. Now, I used to work at a flower shop in Los Angeles that provided the flowers for the Oscars, and it was a huge freaking deal for them. It was an absolute huge deal. They made a lot of money, that's why. But they also took it seriously, and I get that. I respect the sanctity of the Academy Awards and what it goes for. But in reality, we have to look at it from the perspective of nobody wants to work for the Oscars because of the social media backlash. It's not that they fail for any specific reason. It's just that like viewership is declining and more people are attacking it. So why do it? Why put yourself through the shit? And honestly, I don't blame anyone for not doing it. So there we go. But anyway, I leave it to you. If you guys made it this far, type Oscar in the chat so I know. Again, this is more of a topic it's near and dear to me. I just want to talk about it. I do love Hollywood. I love the business side of things. You love movies, and I want to see everything succeed. But what we're seeing here is this is this change up in a way that's only going to be a detriment to the system, because people out there are pushing so rampantly for things to change in ways that aren't indicative of where Hollywood is or even where the people are. And it's only going to get worse. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 2019, the Oscar viewership drops down to below 20 million people. Would not be surprised at all. And if it happens, then you know what? It really isn't the host's fault. It's the show itself. And that's why it needs to change. And I don't think it's going to, because Hollywood is nothing if not very, very, very much a stickler when it comes to certain traditions. But anyway, I'll leave it to you. Please thumbs up the video if you guys want. Subscribe if you're new. Talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.